I've been lucky in many ways in my life, but I count one of my greatest blessings that I occasionally get to visit Holy Apostles Episcopal Church on the Oneida Reservation, up in Wisconsin's beautiful Fox Valley. And while it's hard for me, as an inveterate Minnesota sports fan, to be so close to Green Bay, the people are friendly, they're kind, they're hardworking, and above all, they're faithful. I visited with 4 pillars of the community: Jenny Webster, Deacon Deborah Heckel, Judy Cornelius, and Edie Cornelius Grosskopf, to talk about prayer, what it can do for us, why it matters, and how it's buoyed this community for generations and generations.
Tell me about Holy Apostles. For someone who's never been here, what would they see?
Holy Apostles is very centered in tradition. I think it's the welcoming that we have to anybody and everybody.
Baptized and confirmed in this very church.
In this building?
Yes.
I was baptized here and confirmed here and lifetime member, basically.
Born and raised here in Oneida, baptized here at Holy Apostles, married here. My children were married.
I was baptized, confirmed, married. I buried my husband from here. All of my children have been baptized and confirmed in this church.
Our lives kind of center around the church.
Yeah. Now tell me a little bit about the Oneida.
We're part of the Iroquois Confederacy. We're from New York. When the Erie Canal came through, we were kind of pushed out. 1822, 1823, there was 3 different parties that settled in Wisconsin. So we are on Ho-Chunk and Menominee land. So we always want to make sure that we acknowledge that they're the ones that allow us to put our blankets down, share the hunting, the game, the fishing. The tribe celebrated our 200-year bicentennial this past summer.
Y'all were the first Episcopalians in Wisconsin. This is the grandmother church of all the Wisconsin Episcopal churches. Stepping into a living history, it feels like, as someone who's an outsider to it.
It's always high mass.
Yeah.
It's the bells and the smells.
The character up on the ceiling from years and years and years of prayers and of incense and the rest, you can tell it's a place kind of set apart from the rest of the world.
In our traditional ways, you're burning tobacco, so you're sending those prayers up.
What does prayer look like at Holy Apostles?
Church is home. It's my comfort. If I don't get to church on a Sunday, I feel unbalanced.
It's my connection, my communion with God. And that is something internal.
With my mom's family, we grew up with prayers before we went to bed. She encouraged us to say prayers in the morning, which I still do. Prayer was part of our life.
Being a wife, a mom, a grandma, busy. It's very busy. Prayer settles my spirit, and I think it humbles me.
All right, let's say that I've never prayed before. How should I start?
Settling myself, turning off the radio, TV, put aside all those distractions so that you can set your mind at ease.
I would probably tell them to start out with something that is in written form, maybe the Serenity Prayer.
That's a great one.
Or the Our Father. And that would be a starting point to learn and grow in a prayer life.
Yeah.
Are you thankful for the food that you eat? Are you thankful for the air you breathe? Are you thankful for the clothes on your back, your family? These are all things that God has provided for us. Being thankful is part of prayer.
Yeah. With the prayer book, there's a bunch of pre-written prayers in there that are really great starts. There's a whole section on prayers and thanksgivings for a lot of different settings.
Situations.
Yeah, exactly. Grounding yourself in that over and over again until you let the words kind of wash over you.
Knowing that there's something outside yourself that is greater than yourself.
God is wanting to be in relationship with you. And how do you have any relationship, right?
Right.
If it's just one person talking, it's not a very good relationship, right?
And in relationships, whether it's with God, another person, it takes work, it takes dedication.
The Oneida have a particular way of expressing their relationship with God through an extraordinary tradition of singing. There's a line often attributed to St. Augustine: "He who sings prays twice." In learning about the Oneida singers, the meaning of that phrase became clear.
I got to experience a kind of prayer here today that was just awesome. really beautiful an experience of the Oneida Singers. Do you mind telling me a little bit about them?
Oneida Singers have always been in my life. My father was a singer, my mother was a singer. They come together for funerals and weddings, different events like that.
These songs that we sing are healing prayer songs. When we moved here from New York in 1822, we brought those songs with us to this church, and there was no church here. So those songs came from early as 1647.
Wow.
I can remember having bonfires outside with all the singers there with my great-grandma. It's always been healing.
Absolutely, it's a connection.
We've lost some things and then tried to regain them, but the Oneida hymns have never ceased.
Some of the tunes are familiar, some aren't. Turn in the Oneida hymnal and that's Amazing Grace. I can tell it's Amazing Grace. There's something so moving about knowing that the God that spoke to me when I was a kid spoke to every one of those singers too, and their ancestors. We really are, despite the many differences, one family.
Even if it's in a different language.
Exactly.
It's Amazing
Yeah,
Grace.
yeah.
Right now, we're kind of in a quandary because we're dying off. We're 70s, 80s, some are 90s that are singing, and we're just trying to keep it alive. We know the songs are anointed by the Holy Spirit. We know that. You pass it on to your kids, but we're losing that. We need to preserve them. They're so important.
They're powerful.
To our culture, and our community, and our world. The story that I would like to share with you is about my mother and the importance of the Oneida hymn singers. Around 1918, she was sent to Tomah Indian School. Kids were collected and sent over to western Wisconsin at that time. She got very sick at school. As other classmates were dying and going to the sick area and not coming back, she would pray. She knew from the songs, from these Oneida hymns, that the Creator lived within her, and she could always go to that source of God to protect her in any situation. And even though she didn't sing them out loud, she'd sing them in her head. Well, finally it was her turn. She couldn't walk anymore. She could hardly breathe. They put her on a train to come home back to Oneida to die. The staff from this church came over and they prayed over her and they brought her medicine, and she had fully recovered. And I always say those songs saved her life. And they were anointed by the Holy Spirit.
And you're singing these songs
And now I'm singing the songs.
There's a certain amount of holy quiet that settles in here and revives my soul, my belief in God, my ancestors. I'm so thankful for them. It was a hard road coming this far.
The psalmist sings, "Let my prayer be set forth in your sight as incense, the lifting up of my hands as the evening sacrifice." At Holy Apostles, among the Oneida saints, I saw the beautiful weight of tradition, of healing songs, of heartfelt prayer soaking the very walls of the church. The prayers of this congregation, spoken and sung, show a family faithful to each other and to the God they serve, a God who hears them, who carries them, who speaks to them, who through years and years and miles loves them. May we all be so faithful.